What is the diffusion of innovations theory? Well, this theory was proposed by American theorist Everett Rogers in 1962, and the premise behind it is to explain the rate at which new information and new technologies spread or diffuse through a given community or population. This is a good measure for determining the rate at which the population will adopt new technologies and thereby extrapolate on the effect that new information and technologies will have on that population. So it's a very useful theory in that regard. Rogers proposed that there were several elements that can be used to determine the rate at which such information or technology would be diffused through the population. These elements generally include things like the nature of the innovation or information itself, that is, the importance of it to the people, things of that nature. The communication channels available. For example, if information technology channels are available, like internet and other high-speed communication devices, then that will increase the rate at which information and technologies diffuse. The time period. If you're in a period of time throughout the year where communication channels, for example, are slower, or if you are dealing with a major event that happens during a certain period of the year. So time and period during the act of diffusion is a factor. Social structures, meaning the relationships among individuals. For example, some cultures have very tight-knit family structures whereby communication happens more readily, while other cultures have social structures that are more spread out or less close together. You'll see this in urban environments and rural environments as well. Urban environments being more tightly compressed, where rural environments are more spread out. Population mix, that is the ages, the demographics, the other socioeconomic factors that make up a population, and ultimately how individuals in that population will relate. The culture within that population, once again, just like with social structures, culture can have an impact on the types of things that are discussed and the type of information that would readily flow from one individual to another. Also, there may be cultural barriers to communication, such as the inability of women to speak directly with men in certain populations, and other things like that that could thwart communication. Education level, which generally entails a certain level of acceptance of new technologies and new ideas rather than a reactionary stance or a stance against novelty or change. And then industrialization, which by its very nature lends itself to the introduction of new technologies. So these are just factors that have been identified as part of this theory that can have an effect on the speed or rate at which information and technologies diffuse or spread throughout a culture.